Okay, what's going on, Grand Rising? Good morning, good morning. Today is Friday, March 20th, 2026. What we're going to be looking at today is going to be dollar index, the futures market, MNQ, obviously NQ, so Nasdaq, for executions. Today, coming off yesterday wasn't my best day, so today probably just looking for a base hit, right? Just looking for a 1 to 3 hour setup. Probably nothing much more than that. So we'll go over the top down analysis here in the next few minutes. I've got a couple of notes I got to take myself, and then we will get locked in and ready to go. Okay. And then I do have the chat up here, so if you guys have any questions or anything like that, just let me know. So, okay. What's good? What's good? Yeah, we'll try to get going usually around 8:10. Maybe next week we'll start around like 8, so we can do a full just break down the overall market. But right now 8:10 is a pretty good time. So. Does it show up for you? What's going on, Chris? What's going on? Congratulations yesterday too on your stuff with TS. Man, with that divergence in SP 500, I think buys. What's your opinion? We'll see, because if you look at it from yesterday's lows, right? We'll go. Let me write this stuff, a couple stuff down, and we'll go over it really quick. What's today's date? Okay, Friday. 3/20, 26. We'll look over here right at 8:20. My bad. I just got a couple things I need to write down from yesterday. Okay, give me 1 second here. I'm almost done. Okay, so for me, when I'm coming into it, just looking at everything, I'm gonna be focused. Let's see here. I got my middle windows. Um, okay, Philip, what'd you say? Man, that divergence with SP 500. I think buys today. What's your opinion? Yeah, it just depends. I look at the 4 hours, and you really can kind of see like one thing about YM is that we have delivered these lows, this previous day lows, right? Now on ES, we also delivered last week's low, which was really interesting. And then as you can see here, we haven't done that yet. And so we finally moved a little bit lower, closer to where the level I wanted yesterday, which was that 24,300. So then coming into today's, when you're looking at the 1 hours and we're closing back inside, it looks like the initial balance area. Um, you know, the main liquidity that's open right now, since we've swept previous day low on each one of these, is going to be the new low on day, right? So they've kind of set it up to where, price could go up, but I'm not going to try to guess or predict which way it's going to go. My goal is to just play that 1 to 3 today, but if I had to pick a bias, like on which way I do want it to go, more likely up. Let's look at this from this perspective really quick. We're just in a really weird spot. So like in the 4 hour, because where we're at inside the demands, just like yesterday when I should have attempted that buy position right at the open, I would anticipate something very similar today, right? But like when you start to look at, your intraday, which I'll show here really quick, the intraday, right? It really starts to show more like you have that draw on liquidity, you have the sign of strength here on a 15, and you start to make your way higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. And so because of that, right, what really gets my attention going into New York is going to be how they respond here at 24,500 and how they present if they come back down to this FEG, right? Because this is a 15-minute fair value gap, and then like inside of it is that 5-minute area. So I'm gonna look at the whole 15-minute one, all right, and keep that in my eyes. Now, can they continue higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and just extend up here at the open and go above 24,550s? Yes, they definitely could. Right, I see. Yeah, I'm always open to everything. Yeah, so it's just like I'm just trying to stay open because, like I said, I'm just really looking for a base hit more situation today. But looking at that perspective, it does look like they want to reach up to the 550s, and they haven't broken down since the overnight draw on liquidity. So to me, this would be really beautiful to see if you think about it from a higher time frame perspective. This would be really nice to see us finally break out of this area here on 4 hour and start to make our structure back above 24/7. That would be interesting. And then taking the initial bounce high, 24,650s, would be really, really interesting to see today, right? Because yesterday, I'd probably take that buy position if I know it was going to respond obviously like that, which we don't know that. But today, like I said, I'm going to be locked in on seeing if potentially there's a position to push us up back into that area. But also I'm focused on, when you're looking at just this is an inefficiency here on the 4 hour, right? So you have a 4 hour FEG, and then you have a 1 hour essentially that has filled somewhat. So if they can't fill and go above 24,550 with some strength, so like essentially what I'm talking about is this candle here, right? If they can't break through that candle with some good strength, I could see the rollover happen as well to continue lower down on that 4 hour area, 24,300, kind of like we talked about. So we'll see. But like I said, I'm looking for some base hits today, just to close out the week. And so we'll go back here. have the ES comparison here. Okay, cool. Make sure QQQ is ready. All right, looks like QQQ is gonna open up lower. So that'll be interesting too. Yeah, man. Like if we can get even, like I said, man, just something that's just pat and go, A to B, super simple. Like that's all I'm really wanting today. Nothing crazy, because we'll finish out next week to finish the month, and then we have Q2. So I just want to finish out strong today. So pre-market read. Let me write down a couple notes here. Oh, it's already exploding up. Wow. So because it's already pushing up, that'll make it really interesting as well as we fill upside FEGs, right? So like when we come up into this 15-minute, that's in alignment with London Open. If at New York Open it looks like a continuation buy, then if we continue, like they're already forcing it like they are now, then that'll make people try to buy to push out these highs, which I'm not saying that won't work. But then a lot of times, sometimes they'll come in since they've already made that low one day a lot lower, and they'll shift back lower first inside of an inefficiency. So we'll see. Right now, price is bullish, so I'm gonna stick with 15.5 and see if I can reach up there until something else tells me differently. Okay, because 4 hour, 1 hour, this looks really good. And then looking at the, I'm gonna bring up the other assets here really quick. Bringing up these other two, right? I really like YM, right, to the upside here because they have a nice draw on liquidity. You're in no man's land when you look left. You have really good low resistance highs right here, right? That could be a target for like later on today. All right, so seller liquidity sitting right there, and then ES is looking really strong as well, pushing into the supply candle back into where the week low originally was. So I'd love to see, me personally, just if I had to pick a bias, like I said here with 5 minutes out, us to just rally up today. You know, get through the IB high on NQ, get to 24,700, and that'd be a good day for me. Now if they run it, cool. But like I said, I'm not looking for much more than like a 1 to 3. But that does look pretty good, what they're trying to do. But just remember really quick on NQ, for example, and ES, right? You've essentially got a lower low, right? These bodies are closing lower low. So the reaction to come back in here and hit supply and then to roll over is very doable as well, okay? So we'll stop analyzing because we only have 2 or 3 minutes left, and we'll stick to the script here and see what we get. Okay, so overnight price strong, proves it low, and everything the price. SOS. Yeah, with them filling that fair value gap there on a 5 minute, like I love 5 minute FEGs, right? But them coming into it, they didn't fill it. They're coming into it, that's kind of a sign, right? That we want to keep our eyes out for, that they might start to drip and rip. So let's lock in here. A good fill. Trying to eyeball this area here on the 15. And see if it starts to get weak or if they start to accumulate to go higher here off this candle. It looks pretty weak right there. Yeah, so that looks pretty good. I mean, that 1 minute had filled the, and the 5 minute had filled the FEG, so let's see what they do. I'm watching that 15 here, because yesterday they came down into the area and then they just responded really well, so that's what I'm looking at as well. YM's looking pretty strong and ES is starting to roll, so if you took shorts inside that area, let's just say, that was a really good area. So that would have definitely produced your 1 to 3 already. Okay. Now what I would say is if you didn't take a short there, to watch this FEG and watch the low of day, but I'm pretty sure that's gonna be the area, right? Because like I said, we got the fill like literally right before New York. We got this fill right here. Price comes in and kind of taps into that 5 minute FEG, and that's the sign of like higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Like I said, those buyers are just, it's too healthy. Okay. So if you got in that area, great. I'm gonna kind of move this really quick so we can watch this area and the lows. But I thought that was a pretty good short right there. That 1 minute had no wig, didn't like it. No, I get what you're saying. That's the whole reason why, like in these situations, like on a 5, I like the 5 minute the 15 minute location being inside of a 5 minute fast up candle, and then I like to play the second candle. That's like my system. So when I'm looking at, I'm better at eyeballing a 5 move because of this, right? Like I can see how I'm gonna shape it to get back down to demand in that situation. But let's stay focused because I think there's still gonna be either buys in the FEG or below the previous day low if you didn't grab that short. But like I said, I'm just looking for like 2 1 to 3s now at this point today. Unless this one goes for max, let's see. We got New York, I'm watching ES. ES looks weak still too. New York open. Okay. So if they deliver those previous day lows, that would probably, I mean, it might be a quick session from you guys because if you left anything on that short on the runner, right, from the 1 to 3, then I would say you're just looking for a 1 to 5 to deliver, which would be already there. So that's pretty much like, say you partialed out at your 3R area, and then you've gotten to your 5R and you're done for the day. That's pretty much all I was looking for, guys, to be honest. So I'll stay on here long enough to watch to see how we present in the FEG, or if we go below the low day, but pretty quick in there. everything looks pretty bearish when you come from the first 5 minutes, right? First 5 minutes obviously is just wrecking to the downside here. It makes sense though too, because think about all the people that have been buying since 5 in the morning, and they've got higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, right? It's healthy price that drags in players. We'll be looking at this area though too. CFD, do I have anything? Nope. My CFDs are gone. I like that FEG, guys. Here at the 400s. Might be a nice little buy off of that area. Alright, so those 400s look good for like a 1 to 3 potential. But let's see if how that 5-minute price can close here. But if you like it, that 1 minute looks pretty good, and it's worth it being in the right area. It's just, will this 5-minute close with strength, because it could come down a little bit lower. So that's why I'm wanting to see how this 5 minutes is going to close. And then a 1 to 3 would be getting back up to the 460s or back up to supply, right? So just getting back up to these 473s, 480s. So it essentially looks like something like this. All right, we were looking at those levels here, and we're not looking for very much more back than a push. Reason being is because this 5-minute area has become a potential candle. We'll see if it works out or not. Or excuse me, this 15-minute candle. And the shorts from New York, if they're not covered, right? Like if you didn't take that 1 to 3 and be done, then most likely those shorts could be covering, and that's what we would see. But if they don't, then obviously it'll roll over. But it looks pretty good when you look at it from this perspective, to get from this 1 minute demand up to this area potential at least. And so we'll see. That's kind of what I'm looking at though. That 5 minute needs to close with some strength though first. Cause see how the 1 minute's not, it's hard to hold the area. So you want that 5 minutes at least close with strength. But if you like it, then I would say that 1 minute area, you're gonna take it inside that candle. I want to see a little bit of strength though. I'm watching the small time frame price here. Small time frame price doesn't look so good yet, so I'd still wait. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at, Philip. I just want to see if it would engulf in that area. But like I said, I think the shorts, like if you shorted down that first one and got your 1 to 3 off the bat, I think that's a pretty good move for the day, because the other two are so aggressively moving right now, right? And they're looking more weak as well. And then we have QQQ. Just want to bring this over really quick. QQQ is weak and below the week low, the original week low, and the open is already showing signs of like death. Okay, so that's kind of where my eyes are at right now. So we'll go back to 15.5 here, sorry. And then we need to see what they're doing here. Okay, but I do like this FEG, so that's why I'm gonna keep locking in and like watching this 15.5 area of this. It's looking pretty bearish, I mean, I will say. Alright, let me write this down here. That first minute was pretty much it. Slow. bear. All right, so I'm starting to look at the 5-minute area since we're in the right space on the higher time frame. So I'm just kind of watching this area like this to see if we get the price action that we like. It looks pretty interesting here. So basically right off of these, so like right off that 400 level, I want to see how this 5-minute price plays. If it can close strong here, great. Because then every pullback into the area, I would essentially use to attack to go higher. But it's because I like where the 15-minute is. Okay, let's see here again, bulks. We want that entry to be below the 50% of this area, so it looks pretty good there. Okay, I like it. I like the 15-minute location, I like the 5-minute area, and I like the response that we're getting. Okay, so if you're looking for that 1 to 3 type of setup, like I said, I wouldn't be shooting for much more than right above these highs. Okay, right above those 24,450s. Beautiful, like 15-minute location, and it's starting to wick on a 1 hour, which is really good, and we're in a 4-hour demand zone. So if you took it and you're anywhere above 410s, I would say, like if you're anywhere above this area right now, like where it's at, I would say, be protected. If you got anywhere close to 400s though, that's not a bad risk depending on how this candle closes. But we would need some 5-minute strength out of this area. So pretty much, I mean, this is how, let me put this over here. Okay. So, yeah, I'm just watching this area. And it came into the FEG perfectly, which was a good least response area to see. So I'm not looking for, like I said, very much more than that area to deliver. And then we want to know where that 1 to 5 is if you are in an area like this. 1 to 5 is going to be basically back to New York Open or inside supply. So let me do that really quick here as well. So for me, I want that 1 to 3. Let me make sure I have that understanding. All right, I want that 1 to 3, so I'll start protecting the order. Looking at this 5-minute close, I do want to see some more strength. Yeah, that's what I tried to give you. I tried to give out the buy, Philip, instead of the sell. I would say if you're in below 410s, be protected at this point, right? Because either you're getting ready to deliver your 1.5 or you're not, right? So even if you're inside the 410s, right, and price maybe it's just filling a 5-minute imbalance on the way up, I would say if you're in like right here, maybe you go protected. It's up to the trader. Okay. Just because we are starting to reject that 24,450s level. Let's see how the 5-minute closes here though. I do like the location. Let me plot this really quick for higher time frame purposes. And then higher time frame, it looks pretty good. So all right, as we deliver the 1 to 3, depending on where you got in, I would say 4-2 pips missing. Yeah, it's all goody. I was off a little bit as well. Okay, so what I'm gonna do on the remainder of this, guys, is there's nothing to risk here at this point. I'm not gonna look at the 410s, I'm not even gonna risk those, okay? So either we're gonna deliver now through my 1 to 3, or we're going to go ahead and deliver the 1 to 5. Either that or break even, because I did have a little bit on that short side. So you got to remember the 1 to 3 has delivered pretty much. It's gotten very close. So I'd rather be break even on where the entry wasn't the greatest. Let's see if we can bang this out though. Very nice. Let's go. Let's see if they come and get us. That 410s might be a little close, guys, so I'm gonna sell 2 of those really quick. And then if it comes down, like I said, I had a little bit on that short, and then I just sold some of that just in case. Bang. Okay, cool. So what we'll do is we'll see what they decide to do here. But we have that break even, and we have a little partial that I took in that area. Now I could have took that full 1 to 3 off just because we had delivered it, but my entry was a little bit higher. It was in the 410, so it was like more like in there. So I had to do what I had to do, you know. So we'll continue to watch this area. I am holding the CFD. I may re-enter, but I don't think so because I just secured a little bit over 2R. So that might be it for me today, guys. We'll see. So we're off of this move now, just so we have the understanding. And we're still looking at this area, but watching it tightly here. Okay, watching the ES too. Now, if I didn't have the 410s as an entry, I think I would still be in that potentially. So if you guys still like that area, I still like that area though. But let me see. See how this 5-minute responds. What time is it? 48. See how that 1 minute looks. 1 minute looks pretty good on that right side, but we'll see. H1 is wicking, so and yeah, I still have the CFD basically just break even, so I'm just watching that one. I may re-enter futures, but like I said, I don't think I'm going to, just because of the fact that I took a little bit off that short side, and then I just took some from that too. But US 30 made a new high. Yeah, US 30 is US 30 has delivered back into London Open 46 333s, 330s, so it's right back in supply as well in the H1. I'm happy with what they delivered here, because like I said, if I would have been a little bit lower, I didn't realize they filled me at the 410s right when I was looking though. They look pretty heavy right now still, because one response off the FEG is usually pretty good. So either they're gonna make the they'll make the bounce and go, or we'll see it right here. It's like somewhere inside this 5-minute area they may do it, but as of right now, people bought this area. They most likely their risk is right under that low, and that's why you've seen me parcel some of that out because I knew the likelihood of them rolling over still if they weren't just gonna take it from that first FEG fill and like actually go break structure or go touch POI. That's kind of how I know that they're not ready yet. So only trade that I've taken today was that initial trade, which was more forceful, but 470s down to the demand 50%. And then I looked to potentially buy this position, bought it up, showed you guys that I parceled out and then break even. And so now I'm just sitting on my hands waiting to see if we're going to deliver the previous day low. And if we deliver that, we already delivered that, but if we deliver the new low on day, then I'll be looking for maybe a small reaction to transition around 24,300 or 250 is the levels that I wanted yesterday. Okay, so this fair value gap has been clapped, which is fine. And so now we'll just look on to, I think, the low of day sweep. And originally, right, say you shorted that 15.5 area that we had looked at in the very beginning, and that was like your only trade of the day inside that 15-minute area. Well, essentially, if you hit your 1 to 3R, it may have come back and mitigated you before falling, and that's kind of what you're seeing is the people who shorted early that didn't take profit, they come back, they mitigate them, and then they roll over. So that's actually the situation I really like to see, because now we're probably going to get that low of day sweep. So this needs to be marked. Sorry, this is our low of day, right? So that low of day sweep, they come for that low, then I would say then we can definitely look for short covering from overnight. But if it's not clear, I'll walk away here, guys, because I got the goal that I wanted. So if I don't see something that's like really clear, I'll probably walk away. Just so you guys know. Yeah, blank for me. I don't know what you said in that last part, Philip. You said what? Yeah, something for me. So they filled the 1 hour FEG on US 30 and on essentially on all three, right? When you look at all three of them here really quick, right? You've got the fair value gap on YM, right? This is a fair value gap on that H1. They come up, they fill it, they roll, right? Same thing with ES, right? We have a fair value gap on the H1. Price comes up, New York fills that 50%, falls. And then same thing here, right? We got 24,500 was like a key level for me. Price comes back up, fails to break through the FEG and falls. So just a part of it, Probably could have kept those original shorts, but I TP'd so fast on them. It's like whatever. So let's see. I took the on nasty, I think. Yeah, I would say it just depends. If you're trying to buy like that first bounce, great. But that first bounce if it doesn't produce, right? Like it's already made lower low. Like these are making lower lows. So in that first bounce, if you don't at least get back to point of interest and do something like this, and then just go, then that's how you know the structure is still bearish because it's essentially like lower low, lower high to go lower low. And so that's why I wasn't really holding on to that position tough. And anytime I go 50 points in profit, I'm going to start to, so a 1 to 2, right? I'm risking 20 points. So anything over 40 handles, I start evaluating the trade for potential risk off. So it's more of a trade management rule. Now, okay, so let's focus. Now that we've gotten to the bottom of this range though, and we have already taken that previous day low, this 5-minute FEG will be interesting to watch, okay? So let me go ahead and mark that over here. Right, because that could definitely turn around for people right in that area. will they flush it? Let's see if they flush it. If they flush it, we might have a good buy. That's what I'm kind of waiting on to see here. And they're getting ready to flush those 587s on QQQ. So this is perfect, right? And we're starting to move into that 4-hour area that I spoke about. So I'll move you guys over here just really quick. Okay, so we're coming in on that low on the 15. This is our hour, right? And then this is our 4-hour demand. So as we push lower, people will try to sell the breakout. And then that's when, right when it takes the lows, and that's when price will push a little bit further and then reverse. Sometimes, not saying it's going to always happen, but I do want to see that response there. So right now, futures, I'm a lot happier with today already. The shorts were super quick, so anything that's super quick at the open, I'm usually take profit on. Because you can use that 1 to 3 to play another position like we might get to here, or that other buy. So. Okay, so they did just deliver those lows, so I'm going to be locked in on back onto the other window. And pretty much I'm just looking at small time price action to see if anything's going to happen closer to like 300s, because that 300 level is what I wanted yesterday for them to deliver to. ES is moving lower as well. So there is divergence because we're the ones that are moving lower currently, I believe. That weekly looks crazy. Okay, so where do we have 15.5? Nas got the low S&P. Yeah, so that's the good sign right now for me. I'm really watching, like I said, small time frames, like 1 minute, 5 minute here, to see if there's gonna be like a, I call it a railroad candle, like a transitional midi. So let them capitulate. This is what we want to see. We want to see price falling from 450s down to 250, right? Because that's gonna be over 200 handles. That happen in 15 minutes, and those individuals will, if it happens fast, if it's fast, it won't last. Right, so if it happens fast, those individuals will probably cover because they've made a profit so quickly. But we'll be patient though, right? I want to see something on the 15.5 because we are coming into last week's low, right? Which is, I'll show that again really quick for higher time frame perspective. So last week's low, right, which was here, which was that massive candle. So noobs buy tops and sell bottoms. Now is a wick on the daily too, so they may come for that. Now if they come for that, I'm definitely locked in on CFD for sure for long positions, because I would think individuals are definitely going to cover at that point. So we'll stay locked in. Okay. All right, so in small time frames, like 1 minute, I am watching that those 290s. Just trying to see what type of price is going to print over there. Nothing yet, so just kind of waiting. All All right, so there's the 9 a.m. So let's see here. See if we get a little press. They're rolling, aren't they? Those H1s are rolling. 24 threes down. Let's see here. So I would say this too. If we don't see like a bouncer or something here in this area, like 250s, I'll maybe identify something at that 200 level at that last week low. But I really personally just like the shorts. I like the shorts down. I don't want to give most of that back that I took on that 1 to 3. So US 30 holding really strong, crazy. Yeah, it's holding up, but it feels like this. Okay, it feels like they're holding it up to then just release it. You see how the other two have already went past previous day low. So like this is previous day low, and they're pushing past it now on ES as well. And now they still have a while to go before they come to that on US 30. And then when you look at, you look left on futures contracts, there's no man's land. So you're kind of just waiting for either liquidity to deliver, or you're looking for transitional price inside demand. Okay, so I'm going to stick to what we're looking for here, because I think I just may have missed my area I'm looking for. No, I didn't. Cool. Now, when you're looking for these transitions, something I do is I always have the box ready to go so I can move it. So if you guys see me have it on here, I'm trying to just look at small time frames, but also like keep my eyes on the area that I would want if I'm going to take it. So as of right now, I'm just looking, but that does look like looking at that 1 minute area just to kind of see, because I like being in the first few minutes of the hour here. So something off those 280s. If that 1 minute price can go NCE, so next candle type entry, like right in there, it kind of shifted just now. Okay, it was a good shift. They had a nice little, so like right here, I'll show you guys this. So right here in this 1 minute, they had a nice little shift, and say you took something like that, there could be potential here. Now I like to wait for 5 minute strength, but if you're just looking for a 1 to 3 and you're just wanting to plan it, there could be something after a shift like that. So, but I would personally like to see that 5 minute sign of strength here. But that's a pretty good, good chance in that 1 minute area still, I think. If that 5 minute can close with strength too. Like you want that 5 minute to close with some strength to start framing up that right side, so. Let's see. Now watch that 1 minute price here too. Let's see here. So like those 286s. Alright, so like that 1 minute price looks really good right here. Back to the same area we talked about. So if it just responds here and goes up 1 to 3, that's pretty good, because then you could still be looking for like getting back above 417s. So I'm watching 15.5 here. And then know where your 1 to 5 is. Okay. All right, so that 1 to 5 would be filling the FEG on this 5 minute. At least there's a 5 minute sign of strength right there, so that's good. That's a good sign on the 1 minute there. Okay. So depending on your entry for, let's see here, 290s and below, I would say. Let's say the entry is 290s. Oh shit. let's say you had two 90s, okay? Your 1 to 3 looks like that, okay? And then the 1 to 5 looks like, let me go back here really quick, sorry. Okay, so I'll kind of show how I'm wanting to look at this, is if we continue that strength here on the 5, great. If we don't, then that's kind of the issue. Let me look at ES here really quick. ES is responding in that level as well. So if you get a 5-minute sign of strength back above previous day lows, so above these 320s, this 5-minute candle starts to close above this level, the likelihood of them going higher is pretty good, because now you're starting to look at this from a 5-minute, 1-minute perspective of, are they going to fill this 5-minute downside FEG and just roll, or what are they going to do, okay? So you want to see if you're going to get strength inside the 50% of this 5-minute area. If it starts to respect, right, that old low, right, inside the FEG, then it'll roll over. But if it doesn't, then it delivers up to the 1-minute supply. Okay, just be ready. Kind of having a hard time already, okay? And so how I'm going to do this on mine, just because of the entry, could have been a little bit better. I'm going to go ahead and trail this thing to here, okay? So that way either I'm getting ready to deliver to that 1 to 3, or it'll just come back and kind of tap me break even. And I would retry the area personally. Now if my entry would have been a little bit lower, like those 286s, so a little bit like on that 1 minute, it would have been like right here instead. Maybe I keep it, but just because I don't really see it playing out, then that's when I'd move it, right? Because see, we're starting to see, I'm watching that price, sorry, we're starting to see that rejection of the 5-minute FEG, so this will be the determining factor right here if they roll over again. But at least I'm break even on the setup, right, from the 90, whatever that is, 91s. All right, so it came back from my break even. So if they run off on this one, I may attempt something else, but like I said, I'm still floating 2.5R, so with that break even. Okay, let's look at that. Yeah, I think I missed the move today. It's all good. That's how I was yesterday, bro. I just really wasn't in flow with my 15.5. I think the short, the original short, was the best one. That's the one I'm still holding on CFD, so. I'll probably play like one more move because this is still a green day on futures. So I'm thinking that they're going to dig into these lows, and I wanted this priced yesterday 300s, and I wanted the like 250, 300 level to deliver. So now this was also the initial low, the initial balance low. So it's also previous day low, and then it's also the initial balance low. I like that 1 minute price, guys, off those levels. Let's see. Like off the whole level, 300s, right? Just to extend up because of 5 minute, but let's see to see how this one closes. Like, it looks pretty good when you're seeing like this dump candle, but I'd want to see maybe like an NCE, so close strong and then tap and go. My location on trade. It's all good, bro. I felt like the short was pretty. It was pretty much the best move, right? Because you had overnight buyers that were just sitting there higher, high, higher, low. So this 5 minute looks heavy still. So those 286s look interesting though. Alright, so those two, let's see how this looks. 5 minutes still kind of giving trouble here. Look at that small time frame. I don't like those lows. Yeah, still moving lower. Pretty nice roll from IB. I would think that if this, like that area that we looked at recently, after that area just kind of came back, I would say that last week's low might be the only area that it might produce something. Let me look. Maybe broke lower. Yeah, as we move into last week's low. So shorts were nice, loss in the day. Future took shorts on them after. Yeah, sometimes too, just, like today, I was, after yesterday, I was like, I'm going to look for one quick move and then pretty much call it a day, because yesterday was a little just off. It was just the way they barcoded the price, though. It's 5 minutes rolling over. Watching that higher time frame, check QQQ. QQQ is rolling over, right? It's already past that low as well, so let's see. Do they have the juice to go to last week's low? Take a few notes here really quick. Supply / distro. Okay. And the first 15. Okay, price is traveling down, so I will stay on just to see if we can attempt possibly that last week low. I think that last week low is going to be a good one. If it's at the right time. If it's not at the right time, then I'm good. My location. Okay, I was just reading the same thing again. Okay, that 1 minute, wow, I just played, I'm taking notes there. That 1 minute did the transitional move. So it looks kind of like this. Like it did the little V shape right here. So I will start to look at this, guys, potentially in here. Okay. I don't want to buy it as it's running up. I want to buy it if it pulls back to me though. Okay, like on a small time frame. So that 1 minute is gonna close in like 17 seconds, and so maybe when that closes, there's a good chance. Otherwise, it's still a lower low, lower high. So I'm gonna really watch that close. I really want them to reach for that last week low though. So, but we're in a good spot here. If this 5 minute can close with some strength. Now, if it runs off, that's fine. I'll look for a mitigation play. That means the buyers would be in. But if it doesn't close strong here, essentially all we've done is make lower low, lower high, lower low. And so I'd want to be at least see this candle close strong. But it's up to you. If you like those areas, and take them. Good 15-minute areas though, for sure. But I do like where the 5 minute is, okay, and being in alignment with that 15. And then the 1 to 5, say you took this trade in this area, the 1 to 5 area is going to be, like I said, that 50% of that 5 minute FEG. So and it looked, like I said, it looked really good on the 1 minute because it did the dump candle, sign of strength, and then V-shape recovered, leaving the 5 minute dump. But also at the same time, there's a 15-minute dump and a 5 minute dump together, so that's a pretty good price. And then I like how they brought it right into close to last week's low, so they got people to sell the breakout, and so they're reversing on those individuals right now, it seems like. Now what would really confirm this is if this 1 minute price right here on the 5 as well was to go and shift. So essentially all you're looking for is something like this. I thought I had the thing. You just would be looking for something like that, right? To break higher than here. That would show you that this move is most likely going to work, okay? But let's continue to watch 15.5 here because it's still lower low, lower high, lower low. You'd want to see, like I said, at least this 5 minute candle closing higher here or closing with strength. So if you want to be safe on a trade like this, you would want to wait until this closes bullish before taking that 1 minute trade. If you're not as familiar, you know what I mean? If you want to give it a little bit more time and to make sure you're on a right side to play up to an old supply or fair value gap or whatever. Because otherwise you'll get stuck. You'll get stuck on that 1 minute. And your risk will be, will get hit a lot of times and then it'll just roll, okay? So maybe wait for this to close bullish for you. YM is weak. Alright, this 5 minutes getting ready to close. Let's see how it closes. So we'll watch this on, we'll watch it here at 15.5 because I want to see the recording on. See this 5 minute close. Like I said, this 5 minute close is strong. Let's see what they end up doing here because they're still kind of rejecting this last little supply. So in this second, if this one closes bullish, which it did, now in the second candle on the 5 minute, if this candle is to hold strong, you'd want to play a 1 minute mitigation now. Like you don't have to play it before, if that makes sense. Now you're looking to play it here. Because you have a target, let's say your target is like the supply candle area, so 400s. So you would draw the line down the 5 minute candle that you see as the sign of strength. And then you decide where you want to play a 1 minute mitigation, if that makes sense. Right, so if you see it's more down here inside that the FEG, right, on the 1 minute, maybe you're moving the order down to here now, okay? If you're wanting to play this type of area, because now if you move this out of the way, your risk is going to be in alignment with that low. And then you have the candle that you want to be on the right side of, if that makes sense, okay? So when you take the entry, you're going to want to take the entry like somewhere like this. Like when it fills the gap, you're like, okay, and it's like down in the 62s, right? You would take the entry in like a 62 area instead of just taking it without that 5-minute close, if that makes sense, okay? Because then your entry, when you look at a 15.5, I'm going to move this out of the way for a second. If you've got the 5-minute sign of strength and 1 minute price is starting to mitigate and it extends up one good time, that's going to put you over a 1 to 3, okay? So that's essentially the area I like. That's what I like to look for if that's helpful. Because even if let's say you take this setup and it doesn't work, like you got the 5-minute sign of strength and you identify like a 1 minute mitigation on that right side, even if the setup doesn't work, I'd rather that happen than me emotionally take a trade and lose that trade, okay? So it's the same thing, right? 1 minute FEGs, 1 minute demands, those are where your areas of location would be. Now, as you can see, lower low to lower high, this is where this is just probabilities if you took this as type of situation. But I wouldn't be taking it until you got the 5-minute sign of strength and then you're starting to identify like a 1 minute midi, okay? Is that 1 to 3? Okay. Let me watch 15.5 here really quick, so I'm watching the 1 minute over here. So now, does that make like more sense? I want to see, like, if you're looking for that 5-minute, you got lower low, lower high, lower low, right? If you're gonna take it, you want to take it at the lowest spot after the 5-minute sign of strength on the 1 minute mitigation, okay? But we're pretty heavy. So last week's low might be the spot, but I'm just saying if you guys took this, I know I got a message that said I took a buy. Take a look at ES really quick. We're under some old lows on ES as well, so we'll see. Yeah, I would say this, Philip, too. Remember, don't run your shots out before the last week, like that low on week that we were talking about, last week's low or whatever, because that area is the primal area. But I would say this, like if you've got a 5-minute sign of strength and there's 1 minute price mitigating on that right side, there's a good chance that as long as you, like, I'm gonna move this out of the way, as long as your risk is in alignment with the LOD at this point, it's a better chance. Now, can it just roll over because it made lower low, lower high, lower low? Yeah. You know. But if you secured any R on the day, then risking 1 R in this situation right here is not a bad deal, I don't think. ES looking kind of weak from 66, but where's the 1 to 3 is gonna be if they can deliver here? They're too stagnant. They would need to, like, 1 minute price would need to go ahead and like break higher here than this high right here. Otherwise they roll. Yeah. Like I said, this is the only other area I've tried outside the short, and then the other buy that I had taken up there in the 24 fours. So basically risking one R of the 3R. And if it doesn't work, I may take the low, but if this does work, then I'll go ahead and secure some partials here and be up a little bit over 3R on the day and call it a day. Not looking for much. So, like I said, if they do extend that price, we'll watch with this 5 minute close. This 5 minutes not closing the way I would, anticipate it if it's going to work out. So, we're starting to roll. So, would that be 2.5? Yeah, 2.5 R still. We'll see. Gotta let it play out. Yeah, US 30 is gone, bro. Like, it just took London lows to 46 level. So that's a good sign if they're taking liquidity there and we're still inside the range. Five minutes not pushing away strong enough for me. Let me look at a 15 really quick. Watch this one here. Because we know, like, it's either the 1 minute mitigation works out inside the 5 minute area, or it just rolls, right? So. I'm just taking some notes, guys. Let me know if something happens. We're right in that area that I wanted yesterday, which was the 250s, which is like on that 4 hour right before us getting to the lows, right? So noobs buy tops and sell bottoms, I believe, in this situation here. All right, 5 minute candle indecision. The 1 minute looks pretty good though. Okay, and so if we can extend up to the 1 to 3 fairly quickly, I'm looking for them to reach right above this wick high and fill the 5 minute FEG. All right, I'm not looking for much more than that on a trade like this. 15 looks pretty good. All right, so we'll see here. And then I want to know where my 1 to 5 is, because today I'm already up, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm looking for that 1 to 5. So I'm looking for that delivery a little bit higher. And as we reach the 1 to 3, I'll make sure the position's protected, okay? So essentially, we're getting close to that right now. So as long as you have your areas inside that 1 minute, you're pretty good. If that 1 minute and 5 minute here can print above 300s, I wouldn't have any risk on a 1 minute mitigation setup at that point. If, right, you're really wanting to see price at this point on a line graph, the 5 minute cross right above this area and close. Because if it does, that's the sign of strength and short covering. I like the higher time frame location. If your entry is anything below 70s, right, I would say you're probably good to go risk off if we can just get above the 300s. If you want to now, you could, if you have it in those areas I showed on the 1 minute, you could be risk off as well. It may come back and tap you, so you just have to be either probabilistic thinking, right, like accept the risk, or it's up to you. But me personally, I would hold something like this to the at least 1 to 3 here. Take a look at ES. ES is finding strength, so is YM off those lows, so that's a perfect sign. So for me, what I'm going to do is I'm looking for my 1 to 5 to deliver as well. But I want this 1 to 3 to deliver so I can be completely risk off. Five minute has 2 minutes left before the close, so you'd want to start seeing this personally. This is like what I'm personally wanting to see, is that 15-minute dump candle hold and this 5 minute area hold and not show any kind of weakness there, okay? Let me see what that looks like on the 1 minute. Yeah, it looks good on the 1. So depending on your entry, now that we're starting to print above 300s, if we can get this 1 minute to print in 30 seconds, right? So if this candle can print in 30 seconds above 300s and you've got anywhere inside of 270s and down, I would say you could probably be risk off because it could fall faster. So for example, we're pushing above that level, but we want to see that close. And see if this 1 minute closes above 300s here. That's a good close above 300. So this 5 minute candle should extend up to the 1 to 3. And if it doesn't, then so be it, okay? But at this point, right, what I would say for someone is you definitely don't want to be risking on this trade now, okay? Right, so just move your risk right to like that, and you've got your 1 to 3 plan, and you've got your 1 to 5 TP. I'm already up for the day, so I'm looking for them to blast my 1 to 5 R setup on this. But I want to be break even at my 1 to 3, okay? And yes, I do think price could go back up into, you know, maybe 440s, but I'm not looking for much more than what they're trying to give me here, okay? And to be honest, my 1 to 3, I could be done here at that moment, just because that put me up almost 5 R on the day, I think. I have to look at the numbers. Okay. So if it just blasts really quickly, then I might just follow it. We'll see. Really watching that 1 minute price. Now, instead of, here's a tip I'm about to show you guys something, okay? instead of at your 1 to 3 having your TP set, let's say it blasts through your area, you can trail it. You can trail the market by this low as well. So if you don't want the, like, you're in a buy, you want a sell stop to happen right under this low, or like right under this low here inside this FEG, then essentially all you do is come in, and then you do a what am I trying to do? I'm gonna buy, so stop sell. Excuse me, I couldn't think of which one I was trying to do. A stop sell for 2, right, and that's gonna take me in a profit right on the way up. So then at least I can still run my 3 contracts up to my spot, which would mathematically for me do the numbers the right way. Bang, let's go. Good way to finish, man. Let's go. I really want to see if we can maximize that area, but cool. So for me today, guys, we'll see if they run it, right? Let me look at the numbers. I'm going to go ahead and sell 1 more of these. Okay, so either it comes back or that remainder will work out. Either way, it's going to be a good day. Okay, so we'll see. Good shit, Philip. And as you can see, like, that's what we'll focus on next week a lot, is I'm going to go full volume and just go probably for 1 to 3s on stream, okay? And I'll work my CFD on my side, because we delivered 1 to 3 setups a lot, and those will keep you profitable, so. Now, cool. They come back and deliver this one, then that's good for the day. And I'll just take notes, and maybe I'll look at that second half of the day and look for that last week's low. But if not, then I'm good. Literally probably taps the area and turns. Oh, baby. Is that a 1 minute FEG, Phil? Alright. So, like, essentially what I'm saying here is I love to look at fair value gaps inside of 5 minute, like, demand candles. So this essentially is an FEG, right? And so because they've made the signs higher, they come back and fill the FEG. It's about where they fill the FEG. They fill the FEG in the 5 minute demand candle, okay? Beautiful, dude. Risk placement, sick. The 15 looks beautiful. Hold on, let me take a screenshot of this over here really fast. 15 and 5. Beautiful setup over there. Now it's if they fill this FEG and roll. Now if they don't and they roll over, it is what it is. But it looks pretty good potentially here. But that was a very high effort volume candle on the 5, so it might roll. We'll see. I like to feel those candles. Yeah, man. Yeah, me too. It's kind of something you can't explain. and then like what other people can see. So the one thing I want to show really quick, like we've got the execution down, we know what we're looking at, but I want to show some price action context. Okay, is when you're looking at this now, you see how like the last few days, like this week, we've rejected the initial balance low. So price sells off from the open, makes a low there in London and bounces, and then starts to roll back over, closes below it, right? Well, now we're still having, even though we're looking for a nice setup under here, this is why I'm being very protecting of myself, is because we're failing to break and close a 5-minute bar above the initial balance low. So with knowing that, now you go over to a higher time frame, right? You start to see the structure of everything that's going on, and you're like, okay, well, we're rejecting this IB, right, and the previous day low, right? So that like support resistance type area, and now you've left a FEG on the H1 massive above this area. So question is, are they going to get weak here, right, and roll over to that level we talked about, or are they going to go up and fill the FEG? That's pretty much the two options of things we're looking at. And that's why I want to, like, if you have a position, you're really focused on 5-minute sign of strength, playing the 1 minute mitigation on the right side, protecting yourself until you get a breakout of the area, right? Like this was a breakout, 930, 935. You should expect a mitigation or like a move like this to go up before, like to come back, is what I'm trying to say. I'm sorry. You should expect a move like that goes down like this, it crosses, to come back and mitigate, and then go, right, if it's going to go. And so let's go back to that execution window really quick. So we can watch that 1 minute FEG and see how it responds. Because if it responds bullish, right, and it starts to do this, like it comes down, it goes above here and starts to build like that, these look relatively equal, and so you at least get to push through there. Okay, but also looking at this from the 5-minute perspective, I want to see that 1 minute structure break in price, right, and like this candle here become a stack candle that they stack off of, they start to bounce off of. Because if they don't, then this is just essentially another 5-minute trap candle that price could just respect this level and just roll over back to stops. I like how it looks right now in 1 minute. They're taking too long in the area. YM blasted guys 150 points. That's crazy. Same TP for 1 to 5. Yeah, because like I said, if I was down on the day to start, I would have probably just took that 1 to 3 and been good, right? Because think about it, if you're really in control of your risk, and you're really risking 1 R per setup, and not like you're literally framing up 1 R, that same number, like mine is about 200 to 160, right? So you think about it, it's like this trade was already at $600. So that's if one trade, right, is 1 R, is let's say it's 200 to round up. That's 246. That's 3 trading days losses right there, and just 1 to 3 R win. So that's why I said 1 to 3, 1 to 5 is really good. On average, I like to, if I can get my position to deliver the 1 to 3 and I partial there to grab that 1.5, then when it goes to that 5R, a lot of the times that's still going to be a pretty good setup to give you your 2.5. As long as you're averaging at the end of the day, like on TradeZilla or whatever, you're averaging about 3R greater than or equal to, then you're gonna be in a good spot. But it's the capitulation days in emotion, the days where you just, give them 5 trades in a row, right? Those are the days that destroy people. Like if you sit there and you're like, okay, like yesterday, I was on the brink of tilt. I lost 2, and then I lost my third one. I was like, I'm done. Like there's nothing, because that's one R, 2R, that's 3R. You get what I'm saying? Anything past 3R in one day, if you haven't built a buffer, you're gonna have trouble trying to build it back. Okay, so good response here off this 1 minute FEG. Give me 1 second. Okay. Okay, guys. So give me 1 second. I'm just posting this really quick. Looks like we're gonna get that push up. Let's get it. Yeah, it just depends. I would say with a 20% win rate, like I can show you my scale, my risk reward ratio scale. if you're only winning 20% of the time, you'll break even if you're closing 1 to 4s, right? And the only way for you to be profitable is if you're closing 1 to 5s every setup. So the system that I teach, right, when it comes to just 1 to 3s for profitability, like we've already delivered that 1 to 3. So regardless, we would already be done, right? Let's say with full volume on that setup. Or on this setup, sorry, I was looking at the other screen. And so when you're looking at like a 1 to 3, you only have to be profitable, right? Like not break even. You only have to win 30% of the time, right? So out of 10 setups, right, you need to win 3 out of 10 with those type of parameters to be profitable for, let's just say for that week, okay? Now, if you look at that sample size, so if they come back for this break even, it's all good. So if you look at that sample size, right, that's why I like to look at trades where I take, like, say if I took 2 in a day like today, and I close half of 1 to 3, then I close 1.5, and then I could close another 1.5 in this situation. That makes a 3-hour day, right? And so if you're doing about a 1 to 3, like I said, that's usually a pretty good setup for most traders. Now, when you're a beginner, which I'm gonna make a video on this as well, when you're a beginner and you're looking for, okay, I was looking at higher time frame too, and you're looking to just build, some base hits and build some confidence, I would say, then you're looking for those 1 to 2 setups. Okay, so give me 1 second here. Okay, so we're coming in close there. Still watching this. I'm watching the 1 minute FEG, right? But I'm also watching, so we had our eyes on that, but I'm also watching like this 1 minute candle, okay? Because if they just tap my entry, yeah, cool. If they just tap that break even, then great, cool. If they roll to the downside, then great, right? But that's a pretty good session, I would say, especially to finish the week. Maybe we didn't get the full push move up, but some notes that I definitely will go over for next week is that for stream purposes, right, is to start the week and to finish out the month, is to just look for our 1 to 3 and be done, right? Because a lot of us can take those 1 to 3s and that'd be a really good day, right? If you're doing about 4 contracts, right, if you're doing something similar to me on NQ, you're looking at a 1 to 3, 60 points is basically $8 a move. So that's still going to be like $450 to $480 on a close, right? You close that 5 times, that's over $2,500, like $2,800, something like that. So, and we win those quite a bit, okay? So I'll be back on later today for the trade review. I'll talk a little bit more about maybe factoring into that short because of how the price was higher, low. It's like a roller coaster, right? Click, click. You're going up the roller coaster and it's like click, 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 and then that's pretty much what today was like. So yeah, but we'll see how the price plays out. Let me look at higher time frame one last time. I still think we're gonna deliver that last week's low on that daily and 4-hour and H1. So if you're looking to possibly play in the second half of the day, there could be positions, okay, depending on if they hold this area here, this 5-minute area. But the way that 5-minute candle is printing right now, that looks pretty obvious that they might want to take it lower. So just be careful though, right? Because we're in the right timing. 9:54. Let's watch till 10 so we can see if this 5-minute closes through the area. Because if it closes through the area, guys, I would say for sure. I'm not gonna play it on futures because I've already got my day that I want on futures. But on CFD, if we go below this daily low, right, this daily low area and this last week's low, anything below here, if anyone sells this, buy low, sell high, they're noobs, right? If they sold below the last week's low at this point and they haven't sold at all in the 1-hour FEG, right, or the 4-hour FEG, then if they sell this down here, they're asking for it, okay? And so, yeah, I'll just save everything for the trade review because I'm happy with what I was able to produce today, and price is obviously moving lower to those lower areas. So I appreciate you guys watching. I got some stuff coming out this weekend, and then the free Discord will go live latest tomorrow. I have a couple last things that I need to check, but I'm pretty sure everything's ready for us to do like all of our community stuff and be able to drop charts and stuff like that. So make sure you're in my free Telegram announcements page so that I'm going to release it there, and then that way you guys can have access to it, okay? So appreciate you guys. Talk to you guys a little bit later on the trade review. Should be around 4:30 Central Time Zone, right? So like 30 minutes after market close. That way, if you guys have any questions on the week or your system or anything like that, just let me know. But let's see here. Switch accounts. So cool. I feel like we did pretty good today. It was pretty choppy. There's lots of stuff going on, but I still think that really just focused on those 1 to 3s on the streams will help a lot of people. So appreciate you guys. Talk to you guys a little bit later. Have a good day.